Hello, welcome back. Things are a little bit different. For starters, I'm in Florida now. My setup is different because of that. Earlier today, I went to Hollywood Studios. At Hollywood Studios, I found this. The toy box Boba Fett with Slave One. All I can say is that I like it. Let's take a look at the box. No, it's a simple box, I think it's kind of weird, though, because you got a window for Boba Fett, but nothing else. Like, you've got what I presume is an in-game image from Disney Infinity, or whatever the game was called, of the Slave One on here, and on this side, and another what I assume is an in-game model or something on this side. On the back, we've got a picture of the product and some of the gimmicks, There's some more product gimmick feature things on the front. But yeah, if you couldn't already tell, this thing was $35, which, in my opinion, it's a good price. Let's finish this off. Nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. I'm gonna get Slave One out in just a second. Alright, here's everything that comes in the package. What you see is what you get, which kind of disappointed me, but not too much, because I was hoping Boba Fett came with his gun, but no. And for starters, I'm going to set Slave One off to the side and take a look at the figure. Now, like I said, he doesn't come with his gun, but it's not to say that diminishes the figure. It's still a good figure, It's probably one of my favorite looking Boba Fett figures because it's got kind of the toy colors, but darkened. I'm not sure if you can tell, but his undersuit and helmet almost looks like a dark blue or black. Like, it's very dark, The green on his chest is dark. The red tee on his around his visor is almost a maroon. The same with his left gauntlet and his gloves. His boots are very much brown, which I don't think I've ever seen Boba Fett wear, but yeah, you can tell he's definitely based off the toy because of the gray helmet and orange gauntlet. And he's got a Return of the Jedi looking jetpack. And I just love how he looks, like I said. Now, anyway, let's get into articulation. You can look down that far and up that far, so he looks very far up, so you can definitely get flying poses. He's got a ball at the head, I think, so if he does, then he's got like no tilt, and you can't really go 360 because the weird shape of the head gets stuck at the rocket, so you can go about that far. And I guess if you use the hinge, you can get to 360, okay? Alright. The arms go that far out. The Wookiee braids inhibits this arm a little bit. I actually thought the cape was going to inhibit this arm, but I guess not. I'll just use this side still. You can get a 360 there, so ball hinge, he gets about 90 degrees at the elbows. Looks about same on both arms. Same thing, ball hinge and a ball hinge at the wrist. The wrist moves in or out. He's got a swivel at the waist. So that's it. You can't get any crunches. He's got a ball hinge at the legs, so he moves that far forward, that far back, that far out, and he can do the splits. He's got another ball hinge at the knee, a little less than 90. Can do 360. Got a hinge at the feet. Can go that far forward, that far back. And it's a little tough, but you can get the rocker working, so that's his articulation. Pretty good, not super articulated, but you can get him in poses. Anyway, I'm going to put him in Slave One, then go over all of Slave One's features. Okay, so here is Slave One. It's right here. You push that, you pull this out, and in here you got the carbon freezing chamber. It's a weird rubber thing, I haven't hidden 2 Kyber crystals in here, but to give you a better example of what it does, I'm going to pull Boba Fett out. So, since nobody else has done a review of this, this is what I assume you do. So, I assume you just get your toy box figure, you put them in there, and you push down, and you got frozen and carbonite. And yeah, aside from the wings turning, that's all the features I can think of. So I'm gonna put the slave one back together and take Boba Fett out and give my final thoughts. Okay, I lied about final thoughts being next. Next we have size comparisons. To his left, he's got a standard 6-inch Black Series figure, this one being the Episode 1 Mandalorian. And on his right, I've got the reissue VC09 Boba Fett. He's somewhere in between, so it's kind of funny. It's like a little scaling thing. He's about, I'd say, like 4.5 inches. Now, to my final thoughts. Alright, so my final thoughts on this figurine vehicle set. All I can say is that I honestly love it, you know. I love this design of Boba Fett. He's articulated enough. Like, I'm gonna have him in the Slave 1 since he doesn't come with his gun, but even still, if he did have his gun, he's still articulated enough for me to get him into poses I wanted. And the Slave 1, you know, it's an okay size, and from what I've seen on the box, you know, it looks like it's to proper scale to this version of Boba Fett, you know. It's a good price, you know, $35, you're getting a figure and vehicle, you know, that's a lot cheaper than things like vintage collection vehicles. Like, let's see here, the current vintage collection Slave 1 is $200, Millennium Falcon is $400, and Razor Crest is going for pre-orders between $350 and $500, so yeah, a $30 vehicle doesn't look so bad. Now, can you fit vintage collection figures in here? I'm sure, but you might have to do some slight modification because they're just gonna slide around. And anyway, if you can find this, I'd say I'd highly recommend it. I found mine at Hollywood Studios. Since it says Toy Box on it, I assume that you'll be able to find it at plenty of Disney stores and Disney parks. And anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, like and subscribe. If you don't, leave a dislike and tell me how much you hate my guts. Later.